my name's Beck Chalmers, and if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you have been unable to attend the introduction module of the Flow Profiler Power Skills series. Well, that's okay. I'm here to help. Now, you will have received a link, which is probably where you found this video. But on that link, there are two additional features, being a downloadable PDF and a digital version of the workbook, which is what we would use to support the learner in a classroom environment. If you haven't already, you may choose to pause the video to download the PDF. And for those of you who are using the most recent versions of Adobe or Preview, you'll find you're able to populate that PDF. If for whatever reason that's not available to you, I would invite you to perhaps make notes to record your thoughts. Now, the purpose of this session is very much to communicate what the Flow Profiler assessments measure, the scale and measurement of the Flow Profiler assessments, so how they go about measuring what they do, what your results actually mean, and to introduce you to our formula for personal excellence, which will very much give you context on our approach to the Power Skills modules. Now, Flow Profiler assessments are written by occupational psychologists, and in many countries, they're actually known as organizational psychologists. They are validated normative assessments, which means that your results are being compared to a population or a norm group. And that norm group is made up of an international collection of managers and leaders. Flow Profiler assessments are state-based. Specifically, we're measuring two states, how you're behaving both day to day and how you're behaving under pressure. And it's the analysis or the comparison of your results in both of those states, which give us rich insight in terms of how you're adapting your behaviors based on the demands of your role. The Flow Profiler family is made up of 4 assessments, being the Flow Profiler, EQ Flow, Resilience Flow, and Motivation Flow. And they're all supported with our platform, flowprofiler.com, which is really the engine room where our clients would go to administer assessments. At this stage, it is worth highlighting 2 technical terms I'm going to be using. The first of which is a factor. Now, you can think about a factor as a broad area of measurement. So we have the EQ Flow assessment here, and it is measuring 2 factors of emotional and social intelligence. The other concept here is something called a dimension, and you can think about a dimension as a trait or an observable behavior. So it's these observable behaviors that go to make up our factors. In this instance, we have got self-confidence, emotional regulation, regard for others, social awareness, and emotional awareness. Now, if you've been asked to complete an EQ Flow assessment, there's probably a very good chance that you will be attending one or more of these Power Skills modules. Resilience Flow, so resilience is our factor in this instance, is made up of 6 dimensions that underpin resilience in the workplace, being optimism, unbiased, so at one extreme, that would be all about facts and figures, and at the other extreme, that'll all be about feelings and emotions. Self-esteem, perseverance, adaptability, and assertiveness. And if you've been asked to complete Resilience Flow, then I suspect you'll be attending one or more of these Power Skills modules. Motivation Flow measures 7 dimensions of motivation and engagement in the workplace. Starting with growth, in this context, referring to professional growth, recognition, collaboration, well-being, reward, in this context, we're speaking about financial reward, purpose, and autonomy. And then finally, we have the full Flow Profiler, which measures the 4 factors of emotional and social intelligence, motivation, and resilience. And if you have been asked to complete this assessment, then you are set up to attend any one of 18 dimension-specific Power Skills modules. When you completed your Flow Profiler assessment, you were asked to rate statements on a 7-point scale. Our algorithm then converts that to something called a STEN score. STEN is a statistical term, and it simply means standard to 10. But what a STEN score allows us to do is to create a standard distribution curve, or a bell curve, which you're probably familiar with. A bell curve indicates that the majority of our population will fall towards the center, whereas around 1 to 2% will fall at the extremes of a 1 or a 10. So the closer you are, or the further away even you are from the center of our bell curve, the more likely it is that that behavior will present itself in the workplace. If you are achieving results of a 1, 2, or 3, that would indicate you're in our underusing zone. Now, that only matters to the extent that the behavior that is being measured is important to the role that you're doing. If it's not important to the role that you're doing, then leave yourself alone. You're not broken. It's all okay. But if the behavior is important to the role that you're doing, then the opportunity here is to help you with ways in which you can develop the use of that behavior. Our 4s and our 5s would indicate our solid base zone. So your results are indicating that you have an awareness of the behavior. Perhaps you have a foundation to build on. But for whatever reason, the behavior is not particularly active at the moment. It might be resting, it could be dormant, or you may just not need it based on the requirements of your role. If, however, it is a requirement of the role, the opportunity here is to help you activate that behavior. Bring it to a level of consciousness that you can use it in a way that supports you. Our flow zone represents our state of optimal performance. Here, you are demonstrating an active use of the behavior. It's a healthy use of the behavior, and it's not indicating any signs of stress. So the opportunity here for you is to maintain that healthy, optimal use of that behavior. Our 8, 9s, and 10s, this is our overusing zone. And often we're required to stretch our behaviors into the overusing zone as we stretch and adapt to the changing needs of the business environment. The difficulty, though, is that if you're sustaining results of a 9 and a 10 for an extended period of time, often this can start to become stressful for you. And this is where you might start showing some of the negative signs of stress, and in extreme cases, it may even lead to burnout. And if for whatever reason that the 9s and the 10s aren't presenting stress for you, so they may be underpinned by innate behavioral traits, so it's very natural for you to behave this way, you will often find that it's actually stressful for the people around you as they are adapting to the extreme use of this particular behavior. So, and if and when this becomes a concern, the opportunity here is to help you manage that behavior. So for each of our zones, we have a key verb, and that verb very much tells us or gives us a direction as to where we're going in our learning. Our underusing zone is to develop, our solid base zone is to activate, our flow zone is to maintain, and our overusing zone is to manage. And that brings us to our formula for personal excellence in the workplace, which is awareness, action, and accountability. Awareness is very much our self-awareness piece. This is about awareness of your behaviors. And your Flow Profiler report will give you a great insight in terms of developing that awareness of your behaviors at work. And that will often present itself then with opportunities perhaps to make adjustments in order to get different outcomes. And from there, most people will set some kind of an intention to act, really, which brings us to our action piece. Action takes place through discovery, through learning, through an openness to development. It is about developing and learning and acting on techniques to help you self-manage or regulate or modify the behavior in order to get different or better outcomes for yourself. And this is very much the role that your power skills modules are going to play, because they are full of well-researched hints and tips and techniques to help you create a toolbox for yourself. Now, it is important to mention that not everything you're going to hear or experience or learn on these power skills modules are going to resonate with you. That's okay. The idea is that you take away those golden nuggets that really will serve you as you look to develop in your professional life. But we know, and you probably suspect, that action alone isn't going to be enough, because what we're actually looking for here is accountability. Accountability to yourself that you deserve this investment of your time. Accountability to your goals, that you are able to achieve them and you have the resources to draw on in order to achieve them. And accountability to building new habits. What you're going to learn about is very much about behavioral change. And behavioral change does take effort. So you may not get this right on the first, second, third time. It really is the journey that its own reward. But if you keep turning up to the practice, to the effort of building new habits, I know that you will see changes in your results in the workplace. Now, on your PDF towards the back, you're going to see a couple of tables, the first of which will invite you now to have a bit of reflection time and just record under the Your Goals column what you actually want to achieve on these Power Skills modules. What outcomes are you looking to realize? So outcomes is thinking about the destination. Is it about better workplace relationships? Are you working towards a promotion or a pay rise? Are you looking to cross-train, perhaps to go and explore another aspect of your career? And finally, where do you hope this journey takes you? So this is very much an aspirational piece. Is it about strength for you? Is it about confidence? Is it about being able to walk into a room of 200 people with your head held high and know that you've absolutely got this in the bag? So firstly, a chance to reflect on some of the reasons why, or some of the things you'd like to achieve during your Power Skills module journey. The action columns we're going to complete as you work through your Power Skills modules. And finally, you'll see right behind this some additional tables. This is for you to list your power skills that you'll be covering. This will be determined by your learning and development host or your HR contact. We're going to invite you to record your results, so your both day-to-day and under pressure results, and you'll find that information in your Flow Profiler report. And once again, we're going to come back and revisit these pages at the end of each module, so you can recall specific techniques, learning outcomes, or actions, the things that you want to take away. Thank you very much for your time. I am excited that you are joining us in the Flow Profiler Power Skills series. Enjoy your journey and do reach out to us if you have questions, whether that be through your in-house Flow Profiler interpreter, your Power Skills modules trainer, or if that's not working for you, contact us at hello@flowprofiler.com and we will certainly connect you with the right person to answer your questions. We look forward to seeing you again soon.